Good everyone, and welcome to another session with the Early Tutor. We are learning this made very simple. And in today's video, we are going to look at the concept of graph and why 90% of students fail WAEC questions involving graph, and not just the problem, and also how to solve questions involving graph, how to interpret and analyze questions involving graph. Now, when we hear the concept of graph, what do we mean? Graph can be defined as a visual way of showing the relationship between two variables using lines and curves on a coordinate plane. And when we say coordinate plane, we are simply looking at our x-axis and our horizontal, our x-axis and our y-axis. When we say graph, graph can also be seen as a drawing that shows us the relationship between two concepts, the difference between two concepts in one sense, when one variable increases, when one variable increases, the other variable decreases. So it shows us that relationship. Now let's look at this question that we have. Now we have, if 1 meter of string costs 15 naira, then 2 meter costs 30 naira, 3 meter costs 45 naira, and so on. We should show the length and cost in a table of values. The length will be on the horizontal axis and cost will be on the vertical axis, and solve up to 5 meters. Now, when solving and analyzing questions involving graph, there are two things I want you to note. Now, we can't talk about graph at this level without looking at our y-axis and our x-axis. Now, what do we mean? I want you to follow closely. Now, when we have a straight line like this is our y-axis. This straight line is our y-axis, which is also known as our horizontal line. And our vertical line, this is our x-axis. This is our x-axis. And also, when looking at graph, it is also important for students to know that the intersection between the x and the y-axis gives us the point of origin, and this is our point of origin. The intersection between our y-axis and x-axis. And also, it's also important to know that in our graph, we have both the positive and the negative side. Please pay attention. Now, for our y-axis, the up part of our y-axis is our positive side. The up part of our y-axis is our positive side. What do we mean? So we have here to be 1, 2, 3, 4, which is the same thing as +1, +2, +3. But the down part of our y-axis is our negative side. So we have -1, -2, -3, -4. And also for our x-axis, the right-hand side of our x-axis is our positive side. The right-hand side of our x-axis is our positive side. So we have 1, we have 2, we have 3, we have 4. While the left-hand side of our x-axis is the negative side, so we have -1, we have -2, we have -3. So it's very, very important for students to know we have our y-axis and our x-axis. The up part of your y-axis is your positive side, while the down part is your negative side. The right-hand side of your x-axis is your positive side, while the left-hand side is your negative side. Now, it's also important for students to note this while interpreting graph. There are times when you'll be asked to interpret or to plot a graph and you are being given a scale. And most students get confused when they are being given a scale. Now let me give you a very good example. Let's say, for example, you are given a scale of 2 cm to represent 10 units. Let's look at this scale. You are given a scale of 2 cm to represent 10 units. Now, what does this mean? This simply means that for every 2 small boxes on your graph sheet, it represents 10 units. Please pay attention. It means that for every 2 small box on your graph book, it represents 10 units, and it also tells us that each of those points, they are increasing by 10. So that means that, let's listen. So if I have, this is my graph sheet, this is my y-axis, and this is my x-axis. Now this is my point of origin. Now our graph sheet has what? Our graph sheet is divided into what? Separate small boxes. So if this is the first box and this is the second box, for example, these are points of origin. From this point, from this our point of origin to this very first line, it was one small box. From this point, this one, from this very second one to the next one is another what? Second box. Now what we mean when we say 2 cm to represent 10 units, we are simply saying for every 2 small boxes, it represents 10 units. That means from here to here is one small box, from here to here it's another small box. So this means that we'll have our 10 here. And this also tells us that what? Our values will be increasing in terms of 10. So if we have 10 here, our next value will be 20. Now this time when we even have 2 cm to represent 10 units, this can also be seen as what? We can also interpret this to be 1 cm to represent 5 units. Where we divide by 2. So when we have 2 cm to represent 10 units, it's the same thing as 1 cm to represent 5 units. So it's very, very important that students understand the interpretation of scale. Now let's look at this question that we have here and let's plot the graph. Alright, so we have 1 meter of string. It's equal to 15 naira. We have 2 meter. It's equal to 30 naira. Even without giving you any other value, we can see that they said 1 meter is equal to 15 naira. 2 meter is equal to 30 naira. So we can see that this is increasing a number of 15. So if 1 meter is equal to 15 naira, 2 meter will be what? 2 times 15, which gives us 30. And 3 meter will give us 3 times 15, which gives us 45 naira. 4 meters will be 4 times 15, which gives us 60 naira. We have, and 5 meter will be 5 times 15. Will be 5 times 15, which gives us 75 naira. Because the question says we should solve up to 5 meter. So we've been able to what? We've been able to what? Complete the values that will be used for our graph table. Now the question says we show the length and cost in the table of value. So let's prepare our table of value. So we have our length, we have our length, we have our cost. So we have 1 meter is equal to 15. The cost is in naira, so put a naira sign. 2 meter is equal to 30. We have 3 meter, it's equal to 45. We have 4 meter, it's equal to 60, and 5 meter is equal to 75. So we've been able to prepare our table of value. Now, this question said, it went further to tell us that the length will be on the horizontal axis. The length will be on the horizontal axis, and y, the cost will be on the vertical axis. Now, please pay attention. This question didn't go further to tell us, oh, the length should be on the y-axis and the cost should be on the x-axis. Now, it is the ability of students to detect the meaning of the difference between the horizontal axis and the horizontal axis and the vertical axis. Now, please, I want you to follow closely. Now, when we say horizontal axis, when we say our horizontal axis, now horizontal line, this is our horizontal line here. This is our horizontal line, while this is our vertical line. This is our horizontal line, while this is our vertical line. So, and I told you, based on our definition, our horizontal line is our x-axis, while our vertical line is our y-axis. So this question is saying that the length will be on the horizontal axis. That means our length will be on the x-axis, while the cost will be on the y-axis. Very, very important. Now, since we know this, we can go ahead to plot our graph. So we're going to be plotting the graph for this question. So the first thing, we are going to have a vertical line. Rather, yes, we have a vertical line. And then we have our horizontal line. So this is our y-axis, while this is our x-axis. So let's call here our x-axis. Our x-axis. And don't forget, this is your point of intersection, which is my 0. Now we have that. Don't forget, the question said the length will be on the horizontal axis. These are lengths, and we've been able to understand that our horizontal axis is our x-axis. Our horizontal axis is our x-axis, and the length should be on the x-axis. So that means we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here, positive, and then we have negative 1, 2, 3, 4, minus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we have here to be what? 1, we have here to be 2, we have here to be 3, we have here to be 4, and we have here to be 5. Same thing applies here. We have here to be minus 1, we have here to be minus 2, we have here to be minus 3, we have minus 4, and then minus 5. So we can see we've represented the length to be our x-axis. And also the question said on the horizontal axis, and the cost will be on the vertical axis. And our vertical axis, which is our y-axis. So we have 15, 30, 45, 60, 75. So I'm going to have the upper part is my positive value. So I have here to be 15. I have here to be 30. I have here to be 45. I have here to be 60. And finally 75. So we have a y-axis here. So 75. And then we are going to have same thing here, but here the down part of our y-axis will be for the negative value. So we have negative 15. We have negative 30. We have negative 45. We have negative 60, and we have negative 75. So we've been able to assign the values to the various quadrants on our graph. Now let's go into the plotting. So we have that when the length is 1, the cost is 15. When the length is 1, now don't forget that our length here will be on the horizontal axis, and our horizontal axis is our x-axis. So for easy identification, our length is our x-axis, while our cost is our y-axis. So when the length is 1, don't forget your x-axis on the positive side. When the length is 1 here, when the length is 1, our cost, our y-axis is 15. So we are going to have it here. So at this point, you just press it. So let's mark the point with an X. So when our x-axis is 1, our y-axis is 15. So we have it here. Now, when our x-axis is 2, when we have our x-axis to be 2, our y-axis is 30. So we have here, we have 30, and then we mark it with an X. When our x-axis is 13, when our x-axis is 3, what happens to our y-axis? Our y-axis is 45. So 3 to 45. So we have it here. When our x-axis is 4, we have it to be 4, so let's clean this and write it here down, x-axis. So when our x-axis is 4, our y-axis is 16. So we go up, and then we trace it exactly the same point. And finally, when our x-axis is 5, our y-axis is 75. So we have it here, the very last point, and then we trace it. So, and then we go ahead to, after getting each of the points, you are going to, what the next step is, you go ahead to, with your ruler, you go ahead to join those points. So from here, you go ahead to join the points with your ruler, so it will be straight. And then you'll be able to what? Plot the graph very, very easy. Now, someone will ask, the elite tutor, why is it that we didn't make use of our negative side? Why? Because the values for our x-axis and the values for our y-axis are positive. We don't have any negative value. But it is very important that you understand this, because there are times when you'll be given graph questions involving negative and even positive value, and then you're going to plot this, you are going to plot it with same pattern. We've come to the end of this video. Hope you enjoyed the video. I want you to like, share, and subscribe. Thank you very much.